All right, welcome back to Buttered Popcorn. I am your host, Marlo, and today we are talking about True Detective Season 4, Night Country. The first episode was released on Sunday. First off, I just want to say I am a huge fan of Season 1 True Detective. Matthew McConaughey, Woody Harrelson, Cary Fukunaga. To me, it's one of the best shows ever made, that first season. And from there, Season 2, I didn't even finish. I couldn't get into it. Season 3 was decent. I watched all of it, but it just didn't hit as hard as that first season. It wasn't as layered. The acting wasn't as good. The script wasn't as good. It wasn't creepy. It was a decent show, but in my mind, I feel like the second and third seasons, they shouldn't even have that True Detective name on it because they just don't hold up. So I was really excited when I heard that there was a new True Detective season, not because the second and third were good, but because Jodi Foster is in it. And it's been getting a lot of good reviews. So it takes place in Alaska. It's, the last day of sun, and I think the sun is going to be down for the next couple months. We start off in this geological or scientific, some science base a la The Thing. And they're at this base in the middle of nowhere in Alaska. And there's a bunch of dudes chilling there, having a good time. I don't know, there's probably 10 dudes. And one of the guys is doing some sort of TikTok video. He's making food, and there's a dude shows up there, someone he knows, and he's kind of like just doing some creepy shit. And he turns around and he says something like, "She's awake," or "we've awakened her," or something like that. Then it cuts. And it cuts to a delivery driver driving up to this science base, and he comes in, he's bringing all the stuff, and he's calling out to all these guys, and nobody's coming. Nobody's coming to help him. He's like, "I gotta get back. Please come take the supplies." And he looks around this base, and nobody's there, and the TV's on. It looks like people were just there. And then he looks on the ground and he finds this severed tongue. So to me, the opening was pretty good in the way it set up the rest of the episode. I wouldn't say it hit as hard as the first season. Like, if you remember the first season, when you first see the person who is murdered, and it's just grisly, grim. You can tell that the filmmakers, Cary Fukunaga, and the cinematography was just on point, gritty, grim, very paced well with the way the camera moves. This was okay. I don't know. Anyways, I'm not going to get into cinematography yet, but we'll stay with the story. So we see Jodi Foster, and I think she's a sheriff, or she's, the head honcho at the police department, a detective. And she's tough, kind of badass. She's really great. Jodi Foster is great. And, she's working in a small police department in Alaska, in this small town, Ennis, I believe. She's with her partner, Hank John Hawkes. I'm sure you've seen him. And Hank's son. And they're looking through the place, trying to find clues, and they find the severed tongue. And then we're brought into the lives of all of them. Kelly Race, she's this real-life boxer actor. Her name is Evangeline in the show, and she's has a relationship with that police department and Jodi Foster. And it seems like she got kicked off being a detective, and now she's just working as a trooper doing kind of lower level type things, domestic stuff. And we get into it from there. In my opinion, it started off strong, and then we try to get into the characters, or they try to bring us into the characters, but a lot of these characters just aren't hitting. They aren't doing it for me, and I was getting bored. I was looking at my phone a lot, and I wasn't into him, and I think part of it is acting, part of it is casting, and part of it is the script. And there's these moments that are trying to be creepy and weird. There's some woman who actually, she's like the mom from Harry Potter. I don't know if you've seen Harry Potter, but Harry Potter lives with the Dursleys, the mom there. And I noticed her right away, and she was really good. But then, she's fine. She sees some ghostly guy, and then he leads her to some spot, and he does these weird like incantations, and was just laughable. I wasn't scared. I wasn't creeped out. The story to me was pretty lackluster, and I just expect so much because True Detective Season 1 was so amazing. If you put that label on it, I'm expecting that level, and when I don't get that level, then I'm just not into it. And it wasn't even, I know this is the first episode, but it wasn't even to the level of the third season, which wasn't that good either, right? But I still enjoyed it. I still watched it. I finished it. Good acting there. But I wasn't feeling it. The story here didn't get me hooked. And I probably will just continue watching it to give it a chance to give these reviews. But if I wasn't making these reviews, I probably would not watch the second episode. And that's harsh, but it is what it is. That's how I felt. So story-wise, I'll probably give it a 2 out of 5. Jodi Foster, I gotta make this clear. Jodi Foster is great. It's Jodi Foster. She is a legend. She is a great actor. And there's nothing really much to say. She does the best that she can with this script. And the written words on the page, the dialogue is not that good. It's a little cheesy. I remember at one point, one of the other cops, the young son, asks her, like, her phone rings or beeps, and he's like, "Was that a Tinder match?" And she's like, "No, it's my fantasy football league." And I was like, dude, what? Like, they're just trying to make it so relevant or something, or it was just weak. I gotta be honest. And Jodi does the best that she can with it. And she's so good that, her acting is great. Kelly, I'm not so sure of right now. She, to me, was decent, but right when you put her next to Jodi Foster, you put him next to John Hawkes, these guys are good. John Hawkes is a great bit part actor. He's been in so many films and he knows how to act. You get someone like, I think her name is it Kelly? Anyways, Callie. I think it's Kelly. And she's actually decent, but you can tell she's not a seasoned actor. So I'm going to give her a break. I thought she was decent. I didn't think she was that bad. To me, it was all the other people around them. Finn Bennett, who plays Peter, who was the son of John Hawkes' character Hank Pryor, the other cop. He just wasn't good. It felt like he was just reading lines off the script. There was no depth. I've worked with actors a lot. I've directed actors. I've acted myself. It's just someone who hasn't had many opportunities to act, or he just doesn't have it. I don't know. But it feels like there's no depth. He's reading the scripts on the page. He's not there in the moment of the scene. And I found that with a lot of other bit actors, other players, secondary characters here, where it takes me out of it. It takes me out of it when they all feel like they're just reading scripts off the page. I don't know if it was casting director or director, whoever chose a lot of these people. It took me out of the film. So acting characters, I'm going to give a 3 out of 5. And I think that's being a little generous, to be honest. It looks pretty good. And I don't know, I believe they filmed on location. The snow looks real, which is always a great thing when you get kind of CGI snow. I mean, I'm sure there's CGI snow, but the snow looks pretty good. So I'm guessing they filmed in Alaska. I'll have to do some research and check, but the locations are good. Everything just seems kind of generic. You know, if you turn on a Netflix show, made for Netflix show, you're going to get this style of lighting, this style of camera, the camera moves. Like, there's nothing that separates it from anything else that's out there. And yeah, it's all just very generic moves, generic framing, generic lighting. There's nothing different that really sets it apart. And it's good. Like, it looks clean, but that's another thing that I always have a problem with is, like, I don't know if it's these 8K digital cameras these days, but everything looks too nice. It looks too clean. And the lighting, it's too bright. You're trying to create and set up this scary, mysterious, thriller atmosphere, and everything's too bright. You can see everything down the hallways. That's one of my problems with a lot of films now, is that everything is too bright. When you're making a dark, gritty, creepy show, you gotta have darkness. And I mean real darkness, real black, real pitch black areas, and you layer it, right? So you have a layer of brightness and then a layer of darkness in your frame. And here it's just too clean, it's too bright. It doesn't give me that creepy vibe, that gritty vibe that I want. And it just might have to do with the cinematography, might have to do with the camera and the camera movements and the camera placements. But yeah, I just didn't feel it for what it's supposed to be. True Detective, it's not holding up to that first season. And I know I keep comparing it to the first season of True Detective. It's a masterpiece, so it's kind of unfair, although, it's produced by Nick, and it has the True Detective name. But even compared to other great mystery crime films or shows, like the Fargo series is a masterpiece as well. All the seasons maybe except one, most of the seasons of Fargo I've really enjoyed. But this just doesn't hold up. It's not that good right now. I will give it a chance. I'll watch the second episode. Maybe I'll just watch the whole thing to give it a final review. Hopefully it gets better. But the only standouts are Jodi Foster. To me, that's it right now. And I hope a lot of the other things improve. But it just wasn't there. The acting wasn't there from a lot of the bit part actors. The camera movements, the lighting, cinematography is just not there. There's no creepy vibe. The writing is not that good. The way we come into it pretty strong. It starts off strong, then we're just bored in the middle, and then a little bit happens in the end. I wasn't hooked. I'm hoping it gets better. But yeah, that's my review. Thank you. Peace.